All right, so the rear ladder goes up to the roof, so it is a walkable fiberglass roof on the top, and you do want to inspect the seals up there twice a year, so ideally spring and fall. You just want to make sure that there's no cracks in any of the sealants. If there is, they need to be touched up, and that's something that you can either request a technician to do or you can take care of on your own. So here we have the water fill, like the fresh water fill, the water that you're carrying around with you. We do find with this one that you'll want to add, you'll want to be using a little piece to get the water in further. So either of these accessories will help you. So you can either use like a garden hose sprayer that you can lock it in and just give it some pressure to go down, or these kind of fills or a cut off of a garden hose that you stick down inside, and it just helps it fill in a little bit faster so it doesn't overflow back at you. Okay. This is the other side of the pass-through. That is the power cable there. Quick note about this compartment door. So it does flip upwards and it has the little black latch to hold it up. You really want to make sure that that compartment door is down before you open up the slide. So just make sure to do a check before you open up the slide on that one. Okay, so in this compartment, we've got the little light on right now. There is another light above right there. On the control panel, it's called driver's side rear light. It can be very helpful at nighttime. Right, so a couple things. You have a outside shower up there, so it can be used to rinse out the sewer hose, the black tank flush, and the city water connection. So this is the water from the campground that goes straight to the faucets. You don't use the water pump to bring this water up like you do from the freshwater tank and at the campground. So you would bring your hose up through this cutout in the floor and hook it up to the city water connection. It does have the other side of the airbags over there, and a black little drain cap again for water that's extra. Little drain. So you'll hook your sewer hose onto here. So you'll bring it up through this white cap here, twist off the black cap, and twist your sewer hose on. After you do that, and you have it connected to the dump station in the ground, you'll pull the black valve, let it entirely empty out, and then you'll pull the gray valve. Sorry, close the black valve and then pull the gray valve. So the gray one is your sinks and shower water, and that will help clean out the sewer hose after. And then you'll close it as well. So just make sure that you always keep these valves closed unless you're actually dumping them out. You don't want to have them open while you're at a campsite because you'll just have fumes coming back into your motorhome. So yeah, after that you can rinse it out with your outside shower, and that's it. The black tank flush you use like seasonally if you like, or if you have an unpleasant smell coming up from your toilet, or if you think that you've emptied the black tank and you've seen a lot come out but it's still reading as full or something, there could be something stuck on the indicators inside the tank. So that's when you use the black tank flush. So it does have a water line that we saw on the other side of the motorhome. So you'll have your sewer hose all hooked up, have your black tank valve open, and then you would turn on this water connection. So be sure to do it in that order. The black tank valve has to be open before you turn the water on, and then it will spray around the tank, clean it out, rinse it, and it should clear anything that's stuck on the inside of the tank or any unwanted smells. Yeah, so just turn off that bright light, continue. The driver's side has the gas fill, and then they do have the Bilstein shocks and Hellwig sway bar as well. So Bilsteins are on all the tires, and just want to take a peek at the jacks. So those are the rear jacks there. Spare tires also mounted up underneath. Okay. And just a quick note, the rear slides, the bedroom slides, are different slide out systems. They have wall tracks, and the living room slide has floor tracks. So how that's going to differ is that's really important in the living room that you keep the floor clean, that nothing gets stuck underneath like the dinette, and just because things can get stuck in those tracks there. And so just some storage here. It does have an extra emergency retract there, but there is also the electronic one inside. The silver box is the connection for the generator that's in the next compartment, so it's part of the auto transfer switch. There's a little compartment door in this slide out section. This is at the back of the dinette, the back middle, that's hard to reach from inside, so it's just some seat belts that you're seeing that are inside the dinette. The slides do have topper awnings on them as well. We've got the other side camera, generator exhaust. I'm just going to take the panel off the generator here. So for the generator, the gas tank does need to be at least a quarter full. And you can start the generator from out here or inside just the same. So if you're starting it from out here, you hold it down on the prime side or until the red light comes on, and then you hold it down on the start side. You don't want to hold it any longer than 10 seconds. If it doesn't start up right away, just wait a minute, come back to it, and then prime it up again, and then start it. So it is a good idea to start it up once a month. If you're storing the motorhome, it is best if you store it with less than a quarter tank of gas so that there isn't gas sitting in the line waiting for the generator. And then it does require an oil change. So the yellow cap there is to check the oil. The first oil change should be at 50 hours, then at 100 hours, and every 100 hours following. And the hour meter is on the control panel inside. So we'll come back to that. And just so you know, these black lines here that run across the motorhome, that's just the floor line that's inside. So just inside the driver door here, it does have the information about the tires on the side. I have the VIN. This is the power seat. Okay. This is how you make adjustments. In the front middle, it does have the, it's very dark. Right in the front middle here is the emergency start button. I'm just pointing in the front middle. So that button will start up the engine if the house battery has gone flat. So to do that, you'll check and make sure that you have the battery on at the entry step. You'll check the battery level to make sure that it's close to full. And then you will press the button down here and turn the key over in the ignition, and it should start up right away. If not, you'd want to run the generator, get the battery level to full, and wait some time for that, and then start it up. So you do have the auto headlights here. So the vent, your mirror controls. So red is for heat, so that's when you're defrosting ice from your mirrors. And then you have your switch so you can turn to the sides. You do have to have power from the ignition to be able to operate the mirrors. And so you have your steering wheel, and I'll come back inside to show you how the cab works. So just have the ignition turned over in battery mode. So you can see the mileage here. That's where it's going to be. The warranties are going to be starting from. And then as for the fuel economy, it has been idling, you could say, while we've been in here. I'm running the jacks and slides, and the vehicle was towed to deliver it up here. So I'm just going to go over the radio. So you can select a station, pretty easy to use. The tuner, there's also physical buttons as well. Sirius XM, so a tuner and antenna would need to be installed on the vehicle to be able to have Sirius radio playing. Bluetooth audio, so you can connect your phone by Bluetooth or iPad or whatever and play music from there. And then phone, so it does have a microphone up in the top here, so that you can listen to people and talk to people while you're on the phone. Rear camera, so this is the shop door that we're seeing right now. So it is a wide angle. And you have a USB setting. So there's a USB down here. And just a regular setting, so that's how you're going to go in to pair your phone. There is a 12-volt port down here if you're wanting to plug in another device. You have the traction control off button beside it, yield, another USB charging station, and Type-C. And then just have your like AC and heat controls. These are vents, and some more storage up in the top there. Okay. So, continuing to the back. So you do have a swivel seat option for the passenger seat. You'll need to use the yellow boot. So just always make sure that the seat is upright, it's not leaned back too far. So we're going to pull the yellow boot outwards and then slide it on a 45-degree angle towards the back. And then from here, you can spin the seat around, change the direction of it. Okay, so now it's facing the front, and then you put the cushion on it and the booster seat, and it'll be all set up. So the booster seat is sitting on top of the swivel seat now. It's not to be used while driving, neither is the seat facing this way. And so it just has a buckle that goes around the back, so you can unclip that, and you can either store it in the bunk area or your preferred place. So just for a note, you can recline this seat back while it's in this position. You can slide it forwards or backwards. You just have to remember to move it back in place before you start to spin it to face the front. So I'm just gonna spin it around now. So it faces the front, and then it's going to slide on the 45-degree angle, and it's going to click in place. So now it is ready to be driving on the road. Alright, so continuing around the back, I've got all the manuals out on the table here with all the remotes. So the manuals do all go in this black Forest River bag down the side of the dinette. I'm just going to quick go over what everything is that's out. This little black cap or accessory piece here is to be used with an additional sewer hose, so you'd have a clamp go around there, and it just, yeah, it's for an extra sewer hose. These two pieces here, so this is the water filter and the wrench to take the plastic housing off to put the filter inside. This curtain here, it has Velcro on it, and it's your privacy curtain for the front. So the Velcro goes along these little buttons all the way across the front, and that's how you get your privacy at nighttime. So you got a few manuals, Ford manual, some more manuals here. There are 4 remotes. So this is for the bedroom TV, living room TV, stereo in the living room, and the dash stereo. This little motorhome here is actually a USB with manuals on it and some instructions, how-to books, lots of actually a lot of information on there. So you can copy that onto your computer and then leave it in the motorhome. So using the remotes, so we do tend to store them in that mesh netting there. That's where you'll find them. And then while I'm looking at it, it does also have 2 USB chargers up in the front, so you can put your phone in the net and have the charger plugged in. So there's a light switch there for those LED light strips. For using the blinds, for the long ones, it is ideal if you can use 2 hands to pull it up at once. Otherwise, use the center and just very gently pull down. And they'll go up. There are adjustments on the ends for the speed, and you can set the stops, like where you'd like it to stop going. And okay, so for the stereo, just gonna turn the volume back up, and B is for the living room, and C is the kitchen. So basically, you can use Bluetooth for this stereo, and you can use USB, HDMI, or auxiliary ports there. For the TV, so yeah, I do provide instructions for how to change the channels, things like that. But essentially, hopefully you won't be parked inside a building that blocks the stations, but you go to menu, then channel, and auto scan. If you were plugged into the coax cable at the back for cable, then you would select cable here instead of air. Otherwise, you go to auto scan every time you're in a new location, and it will rescan for channels in your area. So the TV does have HDMI ports on it already, and the HDMI ports go up here. So you can add you can add a Blu-ray player onto here, and it's got an outlet for power, and it's already wired up to the TV. So there is a bit of a ledge here, that way it doesn't go sliding out when you make a turn. Another piece of information is you can see that there's a green light in there. So that is the power supply for the antenna that's for the radio stations and the TV. If the little button that's on the other side of that coax cable is pressed, the light will go out and you won't get any stations. So if you scan for channels, like you're not getting anything on the TV or radio, just check that you have that little button pressed in with the green light so you can get stations. If you know that you're not going to be using TV or radio and are being very conservative of your battery power, you can press the button on there, have a red light, and it won't be draining any of your battery. So just while we're at it, we'll just quick go to the bedroom area and use this TV. So the light going. And before you start driving with this one, you just want to make sure that the TV is locked in place. So this one has this connection that meets up back here. So you want to clip that in before you start driving. You're going to give it a solid press backwards. So that is the TV going.